If you really take the time to think about it, distractions are pretty much everywhere that we could possibly be. We have our cell phones that we use each and every day. We have video games. We have some family. We have, just the outside experience if you're somebody that's clubbing and partying and running away from your everyday type of lifestyle. So the point of this video is pretty much why I want to emphasize the importance of not allowing your distractions to stay around too long to the point where they eventually become your desires. Because if you do something repetitively, if you allow yourself to gain a sense of routine based on these things that you may be doing, at some point it is going to naturally become something that you desire. It's going to be so ingrained in you to where if you were to not do those things, it's going to feel strange and you're going to feel off. So the first thing that I want to touch bases on is the importance of understanding internal triggers. Understanding why it is that you allow yourself to be so consumed by certain distractions. And I made videos on this previously on the concept of really us needing an outlet, us running away from our everyday lives because one, they're probably not a life that you enjoy living. You may be faced with some form of failure that you allow yourself to escape from when you're consumed by these distractions. Or two, you just may not even be conscious of something that may actually be a distraction. But mastering internal triggers puts you in a position to be conscious and aware that certain problems exist, certain distractions are present, and then moving accordingly. And what distractions can do is it can erode one's day-to-day life, and then it can divert your attention to things that really just don't matter, things that really serve you no purpose. And not only things, but at times people can be distractions. You can waste your time investing into somebody that really provides you no value and realize years down the line that you've done nothing but waste your time. But the key to mastering internal triggers is you taking action, you realizing that a problem exists and then doing something in order to get a different result. When I first put myself in a position to be conscious that a problem existed in my life and then move accordingly was when things suddenly started to change. I had to start holding myself accountable. I had to realize that if I continued to do the things that I was doing, then I was going to always be in the position that I was. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm not somebody that wants to be stagnant or wants to be in a position where I'm not necessarily growing. And one thing that really helped me prevent myself from falling into these distractions was just the impact that I allowed other people to have on my life. And what I mean by that is just your inner circle. How are the people that you have around you moving? If they're striving to chase their goals, if they're working and building towards something, this is going to have a direct impact on the way that you're moving, because believe it or not, you are who you hang around. So if you're surrounded by a lot of people that's dialed in and focused on, providing value and getting the things that they want out of their lives, 9 times out of 10, this is going to rub off on you and you're going to be doing the same thing. Just being able to minimize this sense of falling victim to whatever distractions that may be in your life. But one thing that's important to keep in mind is that every building needs a steady foundation. If your foundation is not properly built, then this will not last for you. And you can find out the things that your foundation is built on during difficult times. What is it that you turn to when you feel like you're failing? What is it that you turn to when you may not be getting the result that you want? And if those things aren't necessarily things that are going to build you up, then you have to work on rebuilding your foundation so that when you do get to those low points, you turn to things that are actually going to help you overcome that challenge that you're faced with. For example, just think of somebody who has a foundation built off spirituality. When they get put in a position where they may be faced with distractions or they may fall off course, they're going to naturally lean towards the things in their foundation, how they built themselves up. And in this case, it's that form of spirituality. They may seek God's advice. They may seek some form of guidance from Him. And I really want to talk about what happens when you allow distraction to become your desires, because this has personally happened to me, plenty of times. You may put yourself in a position where you shouldn't be doing something. You shouldn't be in a certain environment. You know that you probably shouldn't be around surrounded by certain people, but you fall victim to it one time. And what this one time does is allow it to just be like a plant or a seed that's planted in your mind, and you just constantly feel the need to revisit whatever situation that may have been. And some people actually believe that if I only do something once, or if I only fall victim once, then it's okay. But sometimes doing something one time is enough for somebody to semi-become addicted or put themselves in a position to desire it or to feel as if they need to do something. That's why I feel like it's very important to not trick yourself into believing that just because you do something once doesn't mean that it's going to have an impact on your life, or it doesn't mean that you're going to have that desire for it. Because that's how bad habits start, by just doing something one time, thinking that it's not going to impact you, thinking that it's not really going to play a huge role in your life. But you can block out distractions. You can get to the point within yourself where you're so dialed in to where it doesn't necessarily even matter what distractions may come around, because your foundation is so strong and you're not allowing yourself to get off course. And you do this by having a clear sense of direction and where you want to be. When you know where you want to be and you have certain deadlines and time frames set out, the distractions do not matter, because you know time is ticking, you know time is limited, and you have to utilize every second that you have in order to get to where you want to be in the future. Keeping in mind that not everything is going to work in your favor always, but when you have this type of mindset, if you're doing what you're supposed to do 9 days out of 10, that one day you could potentially slip up and not even be off track, because at that point it's a numbers game. You're doing what you should be doing more days than not. You're staying focused more times than you're not. So this one slip up that you may experience is not going to have a huge impact on your overall success levels. And another thing that's personally helped me is just putting myself in a position to detox from not only social media, but from my phone. Muting, emails, any type of notifications that you can get, and really allowing yourself to be locked in and consumed by this very moment. Because when your mind's set on where you want to be and the things that you have to do, really telling yourself that if I fall victim to A, B, and C distractions, then I could potentially jeopardize where I am going to end up in the future, will make it way easier for you to keep going and to not fall victim to that. I'm not saying that it's never going to happen. What I'm saying is you have complete control over whether or not and how often you fall victim to certain distractions. But don't allow your distraction to become your desires, because at some point when you desire something, you just feel the need to completely be consumed by that thing. Even if it's bad, even if it's something that's not building you up, once you put yourself in a position to do it, more often, you're going to feel that need to desire it. You're going to want to do it at that point. And this is where that roller coaster suddenly starts to happen, because you realize that now you're just off course. Now it's hard for you to stay grounded emotionally, probably spiritually, and getting back on track is going to be way harder. And at all times, it's very important that you just have a clear sense of what's going on around you, because distractions are nothing more than things pulling you away from your actual purpose. If you really change your POV and you think of it as that, something that's trying to pull you away from your overall, destination and where you want to end up in life, it's going to be much easier for you to say no to certain distractions. If you want to go out and be successful, be a millionaire, be a real estate investor, whatever, and you're faced with something that could potentially jeopardize that, I'm pretty sure everybody watching this video would do everything in their power to not get off course. But when you have life happening, when you have things that's coming up unexpectedly, they are going to at some point catch you at a vulnerable moment. They're going to catch you when you least expect it, when you may be sad, when you may be hurting, when you may be going through something in life. And then it's much easier to fall victim to that thing. The key in this is to always stay grounded. Always allow yourself to be in a headspace where you're thinking logically and not acting out of emotions, because when you're acting out of emotions, more than likely, you're going to make an irrational move. You're not going to do something that's in your favor, more than likely. You're going to be doing something that may please the flesh, or that may make you feel good in this very moment and realize later that you made a mistake. And it happens to all of us. We all go through something, or we experience this form of being consumed by distractions. But the point of this video isn't to bash anybody for their shortcomings. It's to literally just minimize how often you fall victim to these distractions. How often you let these distractions control your life. That's why they say the eyes are the gateway to the soul. And, I know this analogy is slightly used in a different sense, but to me it applies to distractions as well, because what you allow your eyes to see, what you allow yourself to look at, is ultimately going to dictate the way that you think, your interests, the things that you want to consume, and the things that you may want to be around. So just gain the sense of control over your life. Don't allow distractions to get the best of you. Don't allow distractions to control your next move and to dictate whether or not you end up where you want to be. Rebuild that foundation if you have to. But if you made it to the end of the video, I just want to say thank you so much. It's your boy Blue J Tay. Drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.